Good morning, I'm WaywornWyrm, and welcome to my channel. And welcome to episode 7 of Space is Wide and Good Friends Are Too Few, the second battle of the Ross 128 jump point. God damn it! Captain Mason Ladson swore as his plot board lit up with a ship. It was another ship of the People's Republic of Anarch Zeta. The computer identified it as a different class than any yet known, and assigned the class designation of Amazon, with this ship being Amazon 001. With a cross-section of 57 and an estimated tonnage of 2,850, a thermal signature of 108, and an estimated speed of 1,894 kilometers per second, the Amazon seemed to be built off the same basic design as the Audacious. Quite possibly the geological survey ship to the Audacious's gravitational survey ship. Follow the ship, go to battle stations, inform Fleet HQ, and aim at the ship. But hold fire for now. Logs would later show that this order was given at 20:51:01 on 26th March 2102. They would also show that 5 seconds later, 2 more ships made a transit into Earth Federation space, classed the Dreadnaught class and the Resolution class. The Dreadnaught dwarfed anything that the Earth Federation had seen up to this point outside of a fuel harvesting ship that was being built around Earth, and would be mostly fuel tanks and a converter for sorium into usable fuel. But even that was several thousand tons smaller than the Dreadnaught. The Dreadnaught was estimated at 25,650 tons, with a thermal signature of 1,575, for an estimated top speed of 3,070 kilometers per second. Which was slightly faster than the Earth Federation fleet standard at 3,000 kilometers per second. The Resolution was estimated at 8,550, putting it at the same size as the Trafalgar. Cannae, fire at the Amazon! Abyss, fire at the Dreadnaught! Lucifer, fire at the Resolution! Mason shouted as klaxons started going off. The crews of the Cannae fired right away as they had already targeted the Amazon, and in a couple of seconds it was nothing more than an expanding cloud of gas. And Cannae, target the Dreadnaught, fire at will. Helm, get us going away from them. We need to keep distance for as long as possible. Comms, get the fleet moving towards here. Sir, it'll take them almost a month. I know. The first volleys from the Abyss and the Lucifer fired with all shots from the Abyss hitting and 4 of the 6 from the Lucifer hitting. The Abyss's lasers didn't seem to even phase the Dreadnaught or to penetrate its armor. The Lucifer may have fared better against the Resolution, but it was hard to tell as no atmosphere had started leaking yet. Luckily, due to the firing of the Cannae, it had offset itself from the Abyss and the Lucifer on its firing, so it was able to fire while they were recharging, keeping constant fire on the Dreadnaught. Not that the first volley from the Cannae did more than dent the armor some more. The battle had raged for 15 seconds, and the other task group, which were clearly heading for the Task Group Cannae, had yet to fire. This would change seconds later as the Dreadnaught opened fire on the Cannae with 19 railguns that fired 4 shots each in a single volley. The armor of the Lexington-class jump cruiser was stripped away. Then its jump drive was destroyed, followed by 1 of the lasers, then 3 of the 5 engines, then a crew quarters, then the other 2 lasers, then the fire control, then 2 more crew quarters. Finally, the last 2 engines, which exploded as they were hit. and destroyed the ship. Of the 121 crew members of the Cannae, only 34 made it to the life pods before the explosions. Captain Mason Ladson was not one of those 34. Commander Bradley Zenner, the captain of the Abyss, became the ranking officer of the task group and ordered the Lucifer to change targets. Although the Lucifer had been seeing quite a bit of success against the Resolution, it was the lesser threat. It quickly turned out that this was a good choice, as the Resolution apparently lost at least one engine in the last exchange, as it slowed down to 2,630 kilometers per second and reversed course to the jump point. The Dreadnought continued on, but apparently needed several seconds for its railguns to recharge. In the next volley, 5 of the 6 lasers from the Abyss hit, and 4 of the 6 from the Lucifer. Every hit opened up a hole in the Dreadnought that streamed atmosphere. The crews of the 2 ships started celebrating as the Dreadnought slowed to 2,484 kilometers per second. Sadly, that was the last action of 102 members of the crew of the Lucifer, as 56 railgun rounds ripped through the ship, causing massive damage and causing one of its engines to explode, and the ship to join the Cannae and the Amazon 001 in their fates. This time, however, Commander Jordan Policastro was one of the 19 survivors of the Lucifer. If the Abyss could win the battle, then they could pick up the life pods for all 3 ships. If not, either the Anarch Zeta aliens would pick them up and keep them prisoner, or they would die due to life support failure before rescue was possible. Keep those lasers firing as quickly as possible. Don't worry about heat buildup. Don't worry about constant fire. It's injured, and we can end this, Bradley said through gritted teeth as he stared at the barely moving dots on his table. It took his lasers 10 seconds to recharge. It took the Dreadnaught's railguns 15 seconds to recharge. He would have one volley where it was just him, then a volley of both of them firing at the same time. He noted that the Resolution had reversed course again and was gaining on the Dreadnought, but it was still slower than his ship. "Sir, the Dreadnought has slowed again. It's now moving at 2,339 kilometers a second. Also, its active sensor seems to be offline. We have no other active sensors that we can detect." This might have been the best thing to happen. If they didn't have active sensors, the Dreadnought couldn't lock onto his ship, and it wouldn't be able to fire. The Abyss's next volley went off, and Bradley braced for impact. The seconds ticked by, and nothing happened. Relief washed over him. He had disabled the Dreadnought. By this point, his lasers had lost almost 2/3 of their effectiveness due to range, and the Dreadnought was now moving back toward the jump point at its best speed. "Reverse course and bring us to within 10,000 kilometers of the Dreadnought," he ordered. His next volley went unanswered as well, and every laser was on target. They were back to half effective strength on the hits, although only one more new hole was put into the Dreadnought, which was rendezvousing with the Resolution. 4 of the 6 hit in the next volley, putting 3 new vents into the Dreadnought. The Dreadnought slowed to 2,191 kilometers per second in the wake of this volley, and the Resolution was holding formation with it, keeping speed. At this point, they were 56,000 kilometers from the jump point and would reach it in about 25 seconds. As the sensor officer was quickly reading through the readout of the latest volley, she looked up. "Sir, 5 of our lasers hit. We're at 2/3 strength, but there was also a small explosion that we detected. It gave off power readings similar to a laser hit." "Great news," Bradley replied. a secondary explosion meant he was really biting into the ship. A few seconds later, "Sir, the enemy task group has slowed again. They're at 1,315 kilometers per second now. We're about 30,000 kilometers from them and closing. They're about 40,000 kilometers from the jump point, and it's estimated at current best speed they'll reach it in just over 30 seconds. With the Abyss closing the distance so quickly, the lasers were not only effectively becoming more powerful again, but were also easier to hit. 5 of the 6 lasers hit at full strength in the next volley, and each created a new hole in the ship. The task group slowed once more, this time to just 730 kilometers a second, moving their time to the jump point to just over 41 seconds. Bradley didn't think they'd survive 4 more volleys. He would have to be careful, though. Once the Dreadnought was destroyed, there'd be nothing stopping the Resolution from going to full speed and possibly reaching the jump point. Change targets for 1 volley only. Fire at the Resolution. As all 6 lasers raked across the Resolution, the enemy task group slowed to 471 kilometers per second, which told Bradley that the Resolution was now the slower ship, and he let his order stand as the lasers refocused on the hopefully badly damaged Dreadnought. "Sir, they're speeding back up to 730 kilometers per second, the sensor officer stated as another volley hit the Dreadnought. "Retarget the Resolution," came the reply. 5 seconds after that, Bradley got the best news he had received in the entire battle so far. Resolution destroyed. No secondary explosions. "Let's finish off this Dreadnought, shall we?" he said, grinning. Now was the time to be a predator. Later would be the time to mourn. Dreadnought is destroyed. Life pods from all ships in this battle are plotted, and we can pick them up in the next 10 minutes. It's going to get real crowded in here, though. Commander Bradley Zenner collapsed into his chair. It was all over. The second battle of Seoul. Or maybe the second battle of the Ross 128 jump point. Hours seemed to have passed. He looked at his watch. 20:54:21. It had been 3 minutes and 20 seconds since the battle started. Earth was at war. He was sure the other 3 task forces would transit in force to Ross 128 and take the battle there. He would mourn the dead and collect the living. He would move his ship to just over 20 million kilometers from the jump point. There he could keep an eye on the jump point while still being well out of range if a force came through. The Essex-class cruiser had a top speed of 3,061 kilometers per second, and with only a 9 kilometer per second advantage, another Dreadnought or Resolution would not be able to catch up to him 20 million kilometers away. The Dreadnought had 334 survivors from it. The Resolution had 71. The Amazon had 23 survivors. On 6th April 2102, the Abyss headed back to Earth after suffering multiple life support failures due to overcrowding. The Anarch-Zeta aliens were curiously no longer aboard by the time the Abyss made dock. Thank you so much for listening to the 7th episode of Space is Wide and Good Friends Are Too Few. Tune in tomorrow for the first non-Appendix B video in my series, The Monster Manual Backward.